Today's sew-along is a pair of stretch woven pull-on pants. This free pattern features front slant pockets, an elasticated back waistband, and front ties. For my first pair, I used this pretty blue and white stretch woven from Thready Made. And for today's pair, I've also used a stretch woven. You want the stretch amount to be about 10%. I've used a regular straight stitch for all of my vertical seams and a narrow zigzag stitch for the horizontal stretchy seams. I also made sure to use a stretch knit interfacing for the front waistband to make sure that the attachment of the pieces was smooth and even. These pants are sophisticated and practical. Let's sew them together now. Here is the right side of one of my front pant pieces, and I'm going to form the pleat. I'm going to carry one of my notches over to the opposite notch toward the side seam. Then pin that pleated fabric in place. Then we can baste the pleat. And repeat for your opposite front pant piece. Here is one of my pocket backing pieces, and I'm going to finish the longer slanted edge. Now I'll place the wrong side of my pocket backing piece onto the right side of my pocket lining. And pin all around the pocket backing. Along the slanted finished edge, I'm going to edge stitch from the top to the bottom. Then for the remaining edges, I'm going to baste the backing in place. Place the slanted edge of the pocket lining right sides together with the slanted edge of the front pant. Sew the slanted seam with a 3/8 inch seam allowance, then press that allowance toward the pocket lining. Now with the pocket and its seam pressed away from the front pant piece, we're going to understitch the pocket lining by sewing on the lining side about 1/8 of an inch away from the original seam line. Now that the pocket is understitched, we'll turn it to the wrong side and give that seam a good press. Fold the pocket lining in half along the notches, and then pin those pocket layers together along the bottom edge. Sew the bottom of the pocket with a 3/8 inch seam allowance and finish the raw edges. Pin the pocket to the front pant along the top and side edges. Then baste in place. Repeat to complete the pockets for both front pant pieces. Place a front and back pant piece right sides together and pin along the side seam and the inseam. Then we'll sew the side seams and the inseams with a 3/8 inch seam allowance, finish those raw edges, and press them toward the back of the pant. Repeat for both sets of front and back legs. Turn one of your pant legs right side out and place it inside the opposite pant leg, which is wrong side out. Now that the crotch seams are right sides together, pin all the way around. Then we can sew with a 3/8 inch seam allowance and finish the raw edges. Fold the back belt in half, wrong sides together, and pin along the long straight edge. Sew the long raw edge with a 3/8 inch seam allowance and give that back waistband a good press. I've cut a piece of 1.5 inch wide elastic to about half my waist measurement. Now I'm going to secure one short end and draw it through the back waistband casing. Then I'll baste both short edges to secure the elastic in place. For the tie pieces, we're going to fold them in half right sides together and pin the long and pointed edge. Sew the raw long edge and the pointed edge with a 3/8 inch seam allowance. Now I'll trim those pointed corners. Turn this tie piece right side out and give it a good press. Repeat for your opposite tie piece. I've gone ahead and interfaced the wrong side of one of my front belt pieces. Now I'll place them right sides together and pin along the unnotched edge. Sew with a 3/8 inch seam allowance. Now I have both of my front waistband pieces sewn together and I pressed open the seam. I'm going to place the short raw ends of both of my tie pieces right sides together with the back waistband piece. The right side will be the outer side of the back waistband. And you want the top fold of the tie to meet the top fold of the back waistband. Then we'll place the uninterfaced portion of the front waistband right sides together with the back waistband with the ties sandwiched in between, so that the seam of the front waistband meets the top finished edge of the back waistband. Then we'll take the interfaced front waistband and fold it over the back waistband to the opposite side, folding the front waistband right along its seam. Now that we have the complete waistband sandwiched together, sew those short seams with a 3/8 inch seam allowance. Trim the top corners of the waistband. Then we can turn the front waistband right side out. And we can give that top finished edge of the front waistband a good press. Place the raw edges of the waistband right sides together with the top of the pant and pin in place all the way around. Make sure that you are pinning right sides together so that those ties are right sides together with the front pant as well. Now that I have that pinned all the way around, we're going to sew the waistband to the top of the pant, stretching that back elastic to sew the back waistband. Sew with a 3/8 inch seam allowance and finish the raw edges together. I've gone ahead and finished the raw edges all along the bottom of the pant legs, and I folded the hem allowance to the wrong side by 1.5 inches. Now I'm going to edge stitch along my finishing stitches all the way around, repeating for both pant legs. And now the pants are complete. Thank you for watching this sew along. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss future sewing tutorials, and I'll see you in the next video.